Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for June 11th, 2025. It's a Time Machine episode, Season 4, Episode 162. Going back to yesterday, mayoral duties kept me from doing the show. Oh, doggone it, I didn't put the show notes in. But anyway, they're over on YouTube's side, but not on Twitch. So they're not in ohmTown. At any rate, today, we're going to talk about mysterious Squid games. Deloitte is paying for Lego, the 155-year-old shipwreck in Lake Michigan, mini cheetah robots, two More Sue Midjourney, fueling a sports betting habit, Meow Wolf into augmented reality, and cheering for number 2 pencil sharpening. And then finally, 2 more articles. Birkin was a reaction to Hermes, and a data clean room. But I'm not quite sure what they mean by this. And there's something quirky going on with every online service. Anyway, everything is powered by ohmTown.com. Everything gets aggregated into it and we parse it. There's a lot of data that flows through there, and I use it for my information overload. So we'll see you on the other side of the intro as we talk about these 10 articles. All right. So, I don't know, since it's the beginning of the show, let me just do this. I did not put the articles into ohmTown, so I'm going to do it live, and it's going to be part of the VOD and part of the podcast when I post that. So yeah, this is what people are paying for, folks. Not really, but hold on. Oh goodness. Okay, there you go. So if you want today's articles and you're over in the Twitch chat, you can hit !NSN, and ohmTown will spit the articles out in the order that we're going to go over them. The Sentient AI isn't with me today. They are, because it's a Time Machine episode, they're not necessarily always available, and sometimes the quantum entanglement of it's time travel stuff. Temporology as it is. Okay, well anyway, the first article that we're going to talk about is over on the Mobile channel. Scientists had never seen this mysterious squid alive in the wild until now, and there is footage of this. It's a 3-foot-long Antarctic gonate squid. Was spotted swimming 7,000 feet below the surface of the Southern Ocean. The article by Sarah Kuda put this article over in SmithsonianMag.com, or Smithsonian Magazine. That's where it's from. And there's a picture of this squid. I guess with light, when you're that deep, you don't see anything. There is no light. So why there's coloration in this thing is kind of beyond me. But anyway, so with the light provided by a submersible, this thing is purple and red, and but it's a squid. It looks pretty damn cool. In December, scientists filmed a 3-foot-long Antarctic gonate squid, Gonatus antarcticus. So it's in the name. Swimming around 7,000 feet below the surface of the Southern Ocean, writes Melissa Hobson for National Geographic, which first reported the story. The scientists were aboard the RV Falkor 2. I don't know why there's a 2 in there. In the RV Falkor 2. Like too much? Anyway, Schmidt Ocean Institute's research vessel studying a site they didn't initially intend to explore. Icy conditions had prevented them from reaching their ideal location in the Powell Basin, so they released their remotely operated vehicle called Sebastian, around the basin's outer edge instead, and that's when they captured the landmark footage. It was a beautiful squid, they say. Marine scientist Andrew Thurber from the University of California, Santa Barbara, who was on the research vessel at the time. The New York Times, Alexa Robles-Gill. You see beauty all the time in the deep ocean. This was just one classic example of it. So they've got video of it. I'll hit play, but I'm going to mute it just in case there's any audio. First known sighting of a live Gonatus Antarctic squid. pretty chill, just kind of hanging out. So such discoveries of deep sea species can really be informative to how they live life at great depths. Lindsay Sala, a museum scientist who manages the pelagic invertebrate collection at Scripps Institute of Oceanography and did not participate in the expedition, who speaks to the New York Times about this. Videos like this get them really excited, they say. Scientists recorded the Antarctic gonate squid during a perpetual planet expedition, an initiative spearheaded by National Geographic and Rolex that aims to examine and document the impact of climate and environmental change on some of the world's most critical yet fragile mountain, rainforest, and ocean systems, and to identify solutions to protect them, according to the project's website. All right, let's keep going though. The next article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel. Deloitte is reimbursing employees up to $1,000 for buying Lego sets. That's right. Each Deloitte employee can spend up to $1,000 on items to improve their well-being. Pay them more, let them work less. It probably helps too. Working hours at Deloitte, one of the big four accounting and consulting firms, along with EY, PwC, KPMG, can be taxing. By some accounts, the firm requires an average of 55 hours of work a week. I used to work 100-hour work weeks, much higher than the average U.S. work week of 34.3 hours. To help employees manage, Deloitte offers a well-being subsidy program in the U.S., which reimburses employees for a range of items from gym memberships to sleeping pillows for up to $1,000 per employee per year. Now, according to internal policy documents seen by Business Insider, Deloitte will allow U.S. staff to spend $1,000 of well-being allowance on Lego and puzzles. It's not Legos, it's Lego bricks. Damn it. Anyway, Deloitte updated its subsidy to include Lego bricks on June 1st, the start of the fiscal year. I don't think anybody really cares about how it's pronounced, but whatever. That's pretty cool. A Lego Millennium Falcon, but this is one that's like kind of put together by spare parts, not the classic. This is pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Anyway, most of the responses are like, Lego, finally, or jokes about how they can now rationalize buying the coveted Millennium Falcon Star Wars Lego set. One employee told Business Insider that the Millennium Falcon set is a Lego set that says the most expensive set yet, costing $850 with over 7,500 pieces. This one I don't think is made by, this isn't the normal design of it though, so I'll have to look into that. Anyway, most salaried workers are eligible for the well-being subsidy, but Deloitte, which Deloitte has offered since at least 2019. In 2021, the firm doubled the allowance from $500 to $1,000. Interns, contractors, and staff on leave aren't eligible. So pretty cool. 173,000 employees. Let's keep going. The next article is over on the Mobile channel. Historians set the record straight on the misidentified 155-year-old shipwreck in Lake Michigan. For years, experts thought a wreck near Bailey's Harbor, Wisconsin, was the Christina Nilsson. Recently, they realized that it's actually the Joseph Cochrane, which sank in 1870. Sarah Kuda, again, over at Smithsonian Magazine or SmithsonianMag.com, put the article together. Information tends to get shared from one place to another, and this is no different. So the wreck is being relisted on the Wisconsin State Register of Historic Places with the correct name, the Wisconsin Historical Society announced. Historians are also taking steps to get the wreck relisted on the National Register of Historic Places, reports the Green Bay Press Gazette's Christopher Clow. The shipwreck in question is submerged near the Wisconsin town of Bailey's Harbor, not far from Old Bailey's Harbor Lighthouse. For years, historians thought that it was Christina Nilsson, but it's actually the Joseph Cochrane that sank in 1870, not the one that sank in 1884. So how did they realize this? Research of the historic shipwreck is never fully finished. There's always something to learn, an opportunity to correct misinformation. An independent researcher recently found an article about the insurance claim while working on a book project. On the forum, an adjuster had written that Christina Nilsson's wreckage was located on the northeast side of Old Bailey's Harbor Lighthouse. The wreck that turned out to be The Joseph Cochrane, meanwhile, was located on the lighthouse's southwest side. So the opposite side of it. Joseph Cochrane rests on the lake floor bed, submerged under 10 to 15 feet of water. That's it. The wreck is 563 feet from the lighthouse, which is known as the bird cage. Interesting. So they've got pictures of this. It goes into greater detail. Looks like it's pretty cool. The remains are well preserved with the lower hull still intact. Since a lot of water moves through the area, invasive quagga mussels haven't been able to overtake the wreck. But yeah, these mussels are these like zebra mussels, I think they're called. They're destroying pretty much the Great Lakes. So let me see something real quick. All right. So the next article is over in Non Sequitur News. MIT's virtually indestructible mini Cheetah robot show off flips. Researchers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology are making headlines for their small army of mini Cheetah robots. According to MIT News, the robots weigh about 20 pounds, and researchers say that they're virtually indestructible, but don't expect them to hit store anytime soon. MIT said it created the bots as a tool for researchers. These are the little robots. Not sure about indestructible, but okay. There's been something weird going on with... no, I don't, but that's okay. Yeah, there's something weird going on today. Anyway, like things aren't going through and certain processes aren't taking place even within my systems. So anyway, we're just going to move on. The next article is over in Right Protect. Disney and Universal becomes latest to sue Midjourney over generative AI service. Disney Enterprises Incorporated. I was asked what the problem is. The problem is that apparently some cloud services are being impacted by updates and some changes that were taking place in their topology, and it's impacting various services all over the place. Cloudflare is one of the things that is the cause of the issue, apparently. But it's neither here nor there. We can still get through the show, but at least one article is being directly impacted by this issue with cloud services and CDNs. So at any rate, this article is over at Right Protect. It's a channel within ohmTown.com that talks about copyright and trademark intellectual property. So Disney and Universal become the latest to sue Midjourney over generative AI service. Disney Enterprises Incorporated and Universal City Studios Productions LLLP. Wow. Filed a complaint. That can't be LLLP. Anyway, filed a complaint today with the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California against the AI image generator Midjourney, and the suit accuses Midjourney of being a bottomless pit of plagiarism. According to the plaintiffs, Midjourney could have stopped the infringement and copying of their copyrighted works at any time, either by controlling the data used to train, or by controlling the prompts users input, or via technological protection measures, but chose not to and failed to respond to letters informing them of the infringement prior to the lawsuit. All right. Well, the article is over at ipwatchdog.com. Quote, so Eileen McDermott is the author of this, and there's a deck statement that says, in fact, said the complaint, the infringement of the plaintiff's works is a feature of Midjourney's service, which functions as a virtual vending machine for unauthorized copies. I'm kind of curious. It says examples of Midjourney's recent infringement of the plaintiff's copyrights, according to the complaint. But to me, this is like no different than, okay, first off, I think that AI and image generation and writing and music and all of that kind of stuff it's a tool to stimulate creativity. It shouldn't be the de facto solution. But in all of these cases, fan art, for instance, isn't under the control of Disney Enterprises or Universal Studios, or Universal City Studios Productions. Hold on a second. So, oh, I guess it is. Huh. Interesting. So, I mean, so you can have LLP, and it's a limited liability, limited partnership. But I didn't think that Universal City Studios Productions was a limited liability, limited partnership. But at any rate, I just had to get that answered. It's non sequitur news, so I go off on tangents whenever. At any rate, the suit accuses Midjourney of being a bottomless pit of plagiarism, but these are derivative works, not necessarily identical. And I think that it's basically a tool for a person who hasn't spent 10,000 hours to hone their skill and become the expert, etc. You know, there's so many things, so many people out there that want to be able to create something. I just think that it should be a tool that people can use to enable their creative output. And in all cases of AI generation of everything, it's an exercise in compromise. Every time something gets generated, you have to sit there and go, is this good enough? And then eventually you say, yeah, but it's still not what the author really, or the creator, the instigator of this work wants it to be. Just like any other artist, you do iterations, except that technology allows iteration to take place a whole lot faster. So it's more complex than that. But that's basically where I'm coming from. It's a tool, like a hammer, and you can do great good or you can cause harm with a hammer. It's the same thing as this. But it says this type of infringement has allowed Midjourney to become profitable, said the plaintiffs. The company had nearly 21 million users as of September 2024, surpassed 200 million in revenue in 2023, reportedly 300 million in revenue in 2024, despite its relatively short existence. So this is Disney's copyrighted characters, they say, and it is IP. But this is the Midjourney output. So are there enough deviations from this to this? I don't really see that. So look, I mean, looking at this, you can tell that this is, I'm really curious what the prompt was. Image generated in response to prompt. Princess Elsa singing in front of an ice castle, frozen animated movie, according to according to Tot. Anyway, I know there's a space there, but anyway, to the complaint. So Holes also said that in the interview that it would be open to an opt-out model so that copyright owners could control whether their content is used for training, but the company doesn't have a process for that yet. So according to Holes at the time, the artists they heard from were not intimidated by Midjourney and, quote, actually, the number one request we get right now from artists is that they want it to be better at stealing their styles so that they can use it themselves as part of their art flow even better. And that's been surprising to me. And I've actually talked to artists that have said the same thing. A suit is seeking damages and they want to do $150,000 per infringed work or for willful infringement, as well as preliminary and permanent injunctive relief. But these are derivative works. They're not copied. It's not a song where they copied the whole song and are selling it or something like that. This is a derivative work that's unique. If they can find this cell in their body of work and it's copied wholesale, sure, I'll buy into it. But that's not what I think happens. It starts from a blank slate. All right. And it's trained. It's literally trained on the work. It doesn't have the work embedded in it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the next article is over in Rounders Gear. Pennsylvania man fueled multi-million-dollar sports betting habit by defrauding title insurance underwriter. A Pennsylvania man has admitted to stealing money to fund his gambling addiction. Federal prosecutors say that the person pled guilty to 2 counts of wire fraud. They stole millions from a title insurance underwriter. So this person had to have had zero audit, like their actions were never monitored or something. So the defendant should have maintained the funds in an escrow account for the purpose of conducting real estate transactions and dispersing funds as appropriate and for the purpose for which they were entrusted, such as to pay off mortgages, pay taxes, pay for title insurance, and pay for the other expenses in connection with real estate transactions. In actuality, they used the money in an escrow account for personal reasons, including, among other things, to place online sports bets. Basically swindled more than $6.4 million from escrow account into his personal funds, and then spent that directing almost 2.5 from the Fidelity escrow account to his legacy title account, some of which was not for legitimate business purposes. So the author of this article is Devin O'Connor over at casino.org, and they say that they have the ability to be in jail for decades, up to 40 years in prison. He's due in September 12th for sentencing. And they're asking for leniency, I'm sure, because he makes no excuses for his actions, but is unfortunately one of the tens of millions of Americans that suffer from addiction, which was at the root of his actions. Yep. The next article is, we'll just move on. The next article is over at Wanted. Meow Wolf's weird physical universe is planning to extend into augmented reality. The creators of Pokemon Go and the artist behind a series of hallucinatory installation exhibitions are combining to create an augmented reality portal universe. And they talked to Scott Stein over at CNET regarding this. I would love an AR augmented reality. I've got augmented reality glasses on the way, as a matter of fact. X-Real 1 Pros are coming. I hope that I get them before my summer of stream ends. But anyway, they're imagining some sort of bizarre Pokemon Go-like series of interdimensional quests that start in the exhibits and continue when you're home. That's not far off from what's being planned, apparently. Partnership with Meow Wolf's sensory overload experiences feels even more fascinating, but is also indicates where other immersive physical spaces and theme parks could be heading soon. I would love to be able to do stuff in virtual reality or augmented reality in three-dimensional space. It's not necessarily really what seems to be going on with current AR glasses. AR glasses tend to where they see the room, but they don't actually interact with anything. They don't plop something down in front of you and you can interact with it like in VR. Inputs are a little bit different. Most of the time with augmented reality, it's data being superimposed based on whatever might be requested or shown via a camera. Like the X-Real 1 Pros have a little, right between your eyes, there's a little spot to put a camera, and the camera can see things. It might be able to augment it into augmented reality, but the reality of it is that it doesn't seem to be functioning like that, but we'll see. I'll be testing it out. So physical spaces get augmented reality layers. Meow Wolf, a Santa Fe based collective, has already created 5 different immersive interactive installations around the US and has plans for 2 more in the next several years. It's a company that the author has become obsessed with recently because they've already been heavily dabbling in the physical, digital, real, virtual blend. I call it reality hacking. We even have a whole show about it on Saturdays. All their experiences are created to feel like they're tapping into interdimensional portals, while their actual exhibits are made out of largely physical materials by hundreds of artists. So now they're going to extend it into the reality hacking realm so that you get to experience something like Pokemon Go in AR instead of just on your phone. So Peridot, a mixed reality pet made by Niantic Spatial, shows some hints of where Meow Wolf's collaboration could be heading. I think that's going to be great. That'll be fun. So I can't wait for that. The next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Thousands of cheering spectators gather to watch this 20-foot tall number 2 pencil get sharpened. I'm just going to jump straight on over to the source. So Sarah Kuda over at Smithsonian Magazine or SmithsonianMag.com put this article together. After a 2017 windstorm toppled the crown of their oak tree in Minneapolis, John and Amy Higgins hired artist Curtis Ingvoldstad to transform their beloved tree into a giant pencil sculpture. The 20-foot tall wooden sculpture has become a beloved landmark in Minneapolis. This month, the couple hosted their annual Sharpening Festival, a celebration that attracted thousands to their home on the shores of Lake of the Isles. I'm air gapped, and so I can't get to the Instagram thing, but if you follow the links on your side, on your system, you'll be able to get to the links, no problem. So now in its 4th year, the gathering included a performance by the University of Minnesota pep band, ice cream dancers wearing pencil costumes, a Prince tribute, and a t-shirt giveaway. So the main event, though, is 2 people climbing to the top of scaffolding with an oversized red pencil sharpener in tow, and they lifted the sharpener atop the sculpture and began spinning it around to sharpen the pencil's tip, eliciting cheers from the crowd of spectators on the lawn below. So again, follow the link that's in the show notes over on YouTube and in Twitch, and you'll be able to go right to it. Or you can go straight on over to smithsonianmag.com and just do a search for thousands of cheering spectators, I'm sure, or pencil sharpener. I'm sure you'll find it. But we provide the links so that you can read more and come back and talk. So yeah, we've got the chat. Feel free to ask a question, make a comment. That'd be great. Okay, so the next article, and might be our last one that actually makes a connection, because the very last one seems to be wrapped up in this DNS content CDN issue. There's an internet outage that's been running for several hours now. Anyway, the original Birkin bag was made after actress Jane Birkin spilled her belongings on the CEO of Hermes in 1983. The iconic accessory would become one of the most expensive bags in fashion history. Now the prototype is heading to the auction block, where it's likely to fetch an exorbitant sum. Eli Wyzevich put this article together. Jane Birkin with her original prototype bag. That right there. So her baguettes, her diary, her keys, her daughter Charlotte's baby bottles overflowed from the rigid, hefty, and only somewhat practical container, which is a wicker basket apparently, on a 1983 Air France flight with Charlotte. Birkin's basket spilled onto her seatmate, who, as it happened, was Jean-Louis Dumas, the CEO of luxury brand Hermes. The British-French actress, singer began to talk to Dumas, and she complained that his fashion house made no bag between the small Kelly bag and a suitcase. He said, "Well, draw it for me." And so I drew it on one of those sick bags, the vomit bags on the airplane, Birkin told CNN's Christiane Amanpour in a 2020 interview. And lo and behold, Birkin's bag still has the original shoulder strap, her nail clippers, and remnants of humanitarian stickers she slapped on the side. Like the little stickers. You can see the glue. So far the auction house has refused to release a pre-sale estimate for what its global head of handbags and fashion, Morgan Halimi, describes in the lot's listing as a true one-of-a-kind, a singular piece of fashion history that has grown into a pop culture phenomenon that signals luxury in the most refined way possible. A new Birkin bag starts at around $9,000 in Hermes stores, but prices are highly variable. Certain combinations of material, size, and color can inflate the price to tens of thousands of dollars, and at auction, high-quality second-hand Birkin bags with a unique provenance fetch much more. Another of Birkin's bags, Birkin's Birkin bag, sold for around $160,000 in a 2021 auction, 5 times its pre-sale price. So it says, at this stage, we will communicate an estimate privately to potential bidders, Halimi tells the New York Times' Marissa Meltzer. Obviously, it's a one-of-a-kind piece, completely apart from any other handbag or any other Birkin. So there it is. Look at that. I guess that's a new one and that's an old one. I don't know. But there you go. It's all about being able to grab hold of an opportunity and run with it. Our last article, though, is over in the mobile channel. Walgreens is pitching advertisers a data clean room, which I'm not quite sure why they refer to it as a data clean room, but anyway, LiveRamp is the organization, the business. The retailer is working with LiveRamp to create custom audiences. So when you click this link, it may or may not actually go through. Oh, it went through. Okay, so the bug is, or the updates are starting to take effect. So the author of this over at adweek.com is Catherine Lundstrom. Through partnership, Walgreens Advertising Group, or WAG, is offering a clean room solution that lets advertisers target customized groups of Walgreens customers across walled gardens and the open web. Advertisers can then connect their targeting data back to Walgreens sales data, giving a clearer picture of which ads work. Using LiveRamp's conversion APIs, advertisers can see real incremental sales, not attributed sales, over 450 offsite platforms. WAG is one of the many retail media networks partnering with tech companies to improve their pitch to advertisers as the retail media landscape gets more crowded and more competitive. So basically, there's going to be more transparency between advertisers and the platform of customers. So they'll be able to direct their ads to customers in a more appropriate, more effective way. But they're calling it a clean room solution, which I'm going to have to look into the rationale for why it's called a clean room, because a clean room is typically something where the environment is uncontaminated, but it's more like a clearinghouse than anything else, not really a clean room. Anyway, I'm going to clear out of here and bring us back to the front page of ohmTown.com, where you should go and become a citizen. Be sure to like and subscribe, follow, tell a friend, ring the bell, all that kind of stuff. When we go live, you'll get alerted. We typically do the show for about an hour when it's both the Sentient AI and myself. But that's not possible right now. May not be tonight. This is a catch-up show because I've been, like I said at the beginning of this, chasing my tail for the last week. Mayoral duties are never ending, folks. So be sure to stick around and yeah, go download the podcast. There's like 3,000 episodes now across ohmTown. I'll see y'all later. Bye.